The home visit. Dr. Smith is a busy doctor. He works in a big hospital. One day, he gets a special call. An elderly patient needs a home visit. Dr. Smith agrees to go. He prepares his medical bag. He drives to the patient's house. The house is old and small. Mrs. Johnson welcomes him warmly. She shows him to her father's room. Mr. Johnson is lying in bed. He looks pale and weak. Dr. Smith examines Mr. Johnson. He checks his pulse and temperature. Mr. Johnson has a high fever. Dr. Smith gives him medicine. He stays to monitor his condition. Mrs. Johnson offers Dr. Smith tea. They talk about Mr. Johnson's health. Dr. Smith gives advice for care. He writes a prescription. Mrs. Johnson thanks him. Dr. Smith promises to return. He packs his medical bag. Mr. Johnson smiles weakly. Dr. Smith leaves the house. He drives back to the hospital. He feels satisfied with his work. Helping patients gives him joy. The next day, he gets a call. Mr. Johnson is feeling better. Dr. Smith is happy to hear that. He visits Mr. Johnson again. Mr. Johnson thanks Dr. Smith. Dr. Smith continues his work with dedication. Mr. Johnson's health improves daily. Mrs. Johnson follows the doctor's advice. Dr. Smith checks on other patients too. He is always very busy. Dr. Smith cares deeply for his patients. He makes many home visits. Each visit makes a difference. Mr. Johnson recovers well. He is grateful to Dr. Smith. Mrs. Johnson is also thankful. She praises Dr. Smith's dedication. Dr. Smith feels proud of his work. He knows he makes a difference. He inspires other doctors too. Dr. Smith's reputation grows.